I don't know when I ran away, but it was past Eastertide and before Lammas, and Lammas to Michaelmas, Michaelmas to Christmas, Christmas, Lent, and Easter. It must be nearly a year. Once I've lived in town a year and a day, I'll be free. That's the law. The worst is over. This past winter, I don't know which was worse, the hunger or the cold. But I knew I would never go back. My father used to say he wished he'd run away when he was young and had no wife and children. "Once there's mouths to feed," he'd say to me, "you're a slave for life. You work till you drop down dead, just to feed your children." But he never did feed us. Well, it wasn't his fault. A villain only gets what the Lord lets him keep, and our Lord was tight-fisted. Then there was sickness, and my parents died, and I ran away. I wish I'd kept count of the days since I left. Once I'm free, I can start looking for work. Town work. The kind where you get money instead of old cabbage leaves and the dregs of the beer. I'll get someone to teach me to make barrels or rope or meat pies. Oh, that'd be the best to work around food. Someday, I'm going to buy me one of those meat pies. One that's hot. And eat the whole thing all at once. And someday, I'll buy new clothes. And when winter comes, I'll have shoes on my feet instead of rags and straw. And when it's harvest time, I'll go to the fair and buy a blue ribbon for the girl who works up at the kennels. You see, she was kind to me last winter. I'd been thieving and doing odd jobs, but the snow had been falling 3 days, and everyone was within. There was nothing to steal and no work to be had. So I took shelter in the kennel with the dogs. That's where she found me. You see, she came in with the dogs' food, and the hounds jumped up baying, and I huddled by the wall in the shadows. But she saw me. The dogs were all round her barking, but she looked past them to where I sat shivering. And she came over and dipped her hand in the dog's bucket and held out a handful of porridge. I was so hungry, I snatched her hand and gobbled as if I was some dog. I gulped down the dog's food and sucked her fingers, and she gave me more. And even as I was eating, I knew how queer it all was. But I didn't care. She was a stranger and stank of dog. But I licked her palm as if it were a golden plate. She let me stay till the weather thawed. I kept out of sight as best I could. From time to time she gave me something to eat. She told me the names of the dogs. She loves the puppies best. Her hands are covered with tooth marks. She looks a bit like a pup herself. She has shaggy hair, and it hangs in her eyes and flops down to her shoulders like ears. Someday I'll go back to her. I'll wear new clothes, and I'll go to the kennels and tell her I'm free. Not a villain, not a vagabond. A free man. Then I'll give her a piece of ribbon, blue as her eyes, so she can make herself pretty and tie back her hair.